For 3 years, I had made myself look harmless. Cheap suits, cheap shoes, an old watch. I drove whatever car the Sterling family gave me and never complained about my salary. To Isabella Sterling, I was simply the poor guard her father had hired to follow her everywhere. You know, Isabella said as we walked toward the private jet, you really don't look like a bodyguard. I adjusted my jacket. Is that a compliment? No, it means you look like someone who needs protection. I smiled. Then I must be doing a good job. She rolled her eyes. My father could afford anyone. Why did he choose you? Maybe he likes saving money. That makes no sense. Most things about rich people don't. She stopped and stared at me. You are surprisingly rude for someone who works for me. I don't work for you. You protect me. There's a difference. She almost smiled. You're strange, Ethan. I had heard that before. What she didn't know was that I had once been called something else. Ghost Wolf. For years, that name had traveled through military camps, private armies, and dangerous cities that I had survived missions that buried entire teams. I had walked into places where nobody expected me to return. Then my younger brother, Ryan, nearly died because of one of those missions. That was the day I quit. I wanted silence. I wanted an ordinary life. I wanted nobody to know what my hands were capable of. So I became Ethan Cole, the poor guard. Nothing more. Until today. Inside the plane, Isabella fastened her seatbelt and opened her tablet. We'll reach the meeting in 2 hours, she said. Good. You're unusually quiet. I like quiet. You always like quiet. That's why I'm good at my job. She looked at me. Do you ever talk about yourself? No. Why? Because nobody asked the right questions. Before she could answer, the plane suddenly shook. Isabella grabbed the armrest. What was that? I stood immediately. Stay seated. The pilot's voice came through the cabin. Ms. Sterling, we're experiencing a technical problem. I looked toward the cockpit. Technical problem? I asked. Yes, Mr. Cole. Another violent shake threw me against the wall. Isabella screamed. Ethan, I've got you. I caught her before she hit the floor. What is happening? She cried. I don't know yet. The engines made a terrible grinding sound. The pilot shouted, Prepare for emergency landing. I looked through the cockpit window. The instruments were failing too quickly. This wasn't normal. I moved toward the cockpit. Ethan, where you going? To find out who's flying this plane. I opened the cockpit door. The pilot was sitting strangely calm. I checked the controls. Why did you lose the engines? No idea. I stared at him. His breathing was steady. Too steady. Then I noticed something that made my blood turn cold. The emergency oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling. Isabella screamed again. I turned toward the pilot. He calmly removed his own mask. Then he looked directly at me and smiled. My instinct screamed louder than the alarms. I had seen that smile before years ago, just before men opened fire on my team. I reached beneath my jacket, searching for anything useful, while Isabella stared at me with fear. Ethan, she whispered, you know what's happening, don't you? I think someone planned this. Who? I don't know. The pilot laughed. You will, he said. The plane dropped. I realized we were running out of time. This wasn't an accident. Someone wanted us dead. I woke to heat, smoke, and the sharp taste of blood in my mouth. For several seconds, I couldn't remember where I was. Then I heard Isabella breathing. Isabella. I crawled toward her through the broken cabin. She was unconscious, but I could see her chest moving. Come on, I whispered. Wake up. The fuel tank hissed somewhere behind me. I looked toward the wreckage and saw flames spreading beneath the aircraft. Not today. I pulled Isabella onto my back and carried her toward the beach. I had barely reached the sand when the plane exploded behind me. The blast knocked me forward. I held Isabella tightly until the burning pieces stopped falling. When I opened my eyes again, she was coughing. Where am I? You're alive. Ethan, I'm here. She looked around wildly. Where's the plane? Behind us. Where's the pilot? I looked toward the smoke. Dead. Her face went pale. What happened? We crashed. No, she shook her head. That's impossible. The pilot said there was an emergency landing. He lied. She stared at me. What do you mean? I mean, someone wanted that plane down. She pushed herself upright, then winced. You were supposed to protect me. I know. You failed. Her words struck harder than I expected. I know, I said quietly. She stared at me, expecting an argument. I gave her none. I couldn't tell her that I had tried to stop the crash. I couldn't tell her what I had noticed in the cockpit. If I revealed too much, she would start asking questions I wasn't ready to answer. Instead, I said, "Can you walk?" "Probably." "Good. We need water." "Water? We're on an island." I noticed. She looked toward the endless ocean. "Can anyone find us?" "Not unless we contact them." "Then contact them." "I'll try." I searched the wreckage and found 2 bottles of water, medical supplies, a lighter, a knife, and several emergency packs. Isabella watched me. "You're strangely calm. Panicking won't help. What if nobody comes?" "Then we'll survive until somebody does." "How can you sound so certain?" "Because I have to." Before sunset, I found fresh water beneath a group of rocks. Isabella stared at me. "You actually found it?" "Yes." "How?" I looked. "That isn't an answer." It was enough. "I built a shelter from branches and pieces of the aircraft." She crossed her arms. "You've done this before." "A few times." "A few." I ignored her question and walked toward the shoreline. "Stay here." "Where are you going?" "Dinner." "You're going fishing?" "I'll try." "You're a bodyguard." "Ethan, not a fisherman." "I contain multitudes." She laughed despite herself. An hour later, I returned with 2 fish. Her mouth fell open. "Where did you learn all this?" I dropped the fish beside the fire. "I had a difficult childhood." "That explains absolutely nothing." "It explains enough." She studied me for a long moment. "You're hiding something." "Everyone hides something." "What's yours?" I looked away. "Tonight, survival." After she fell asleep, I returned to the wreckage. I needed the emergency transmitter. If I could repair it, rescue might come. I found the transmitter beneath the cockpit panel. Then I froze. The casing wasn't damaged by the crash. It had been opened before impact. Someone had removed its main circuit. Someone destroyed this deliberately. I whispered. My heart began pounding. This wasn't just an attack on Isabella. It had been planned. I searched the pilot's belongings. His wallet, his keys, a folded map. Then I found a black leather bag. Inside was a photograph. I stared at it beneath the moonlight. Victor Sterling stood beside a heavily armed stranger. I knew Victor, but I didn't know the man standing beside him. And suddenly I understood one thing. Our crash had never been an accident. And if Victor had planned it, someone on this island might already be waiting for us. I folded the photograph and slipped it into my pocket. Isabella noticed. What was that? Nothing. You're a terrible liar. I know. She reached for the photograph. Ethan, show me. I handed it to her. Her face changed. That's my uncle. I know. Who was the man with him? I don't know yet. You think Victor caused the crash? I think he had a reason to want you dead. She stood immediately. You're accusing my family? I'm warning you. My uncle loved my father. People can love someone and still betray them. You don't know Victor. I know men. She stared at me angrily. You've been hiding things from me since we crashed. Yes. Why? Because knowing too much can get you killed. Before she could answer, thunder shook the island. Rain crashed down minutes later. Ethan, grab the supplies. The wind tore through our shelter. I can't hold this. Move. A tree branch smashed through the roof. Isabella slipped and fell. I'm okay. Get away from there. Another branch struck the shelter, destroying it completely. We ran toward the cliffs. We need higher ground. I shouted. Why? The beach will flood. Lightning flashed across the sky. Then I saw the medical pack hanging from a ledge above us. I need that. Forget it. No, Ethan, it's too dangerous. I'll be back. I climbed. Ethan, stay there. The rocks were slippery, but I reached the ledge and grabbed the supplies. Then I heard Isabella scream. I looked down. She had fallen near the cliff edge. Isabella. I jumped down, caught her wrist, and pulled her toward me. I've got you. Don't let go. I won't. I dragged her onto safer ground. She stared at me, breathing hard. You climbed that cliff for medicine? Yes. You could have died. So could you. She looked at my arms. Several old scars showed beneath my torn shirt. Those aren't normal guard injuries. I said nothing. Who were you, Ethan? Nobody important. That's not true. I looked away. I worked in places where survival depended on impossible choices. Military. Something close. Mercenary. My silence answered her. Her voice softened. You were a mercenary? Once. Why did you quit? Because I lost people. Friends. My team. She touched one scar carefully. Does it still hurt? Sometimes. Your body. My memory. The storm passed by evening. While Isabella slept beneath our new shelter, I walked around the camp. Then I stopped. Footprints. Fresh ones. These aren't ours. I followed the trail until it disappeared into the trees. Someone had been watching us. I returned before Isabella woke. What happened? She asked sleepily. Nothing. You're holding something. A branch. That looks like a weapon. It is now. She looked worried. Are we in danger? Yes. From the people who caused the crash? Maybe. She reached for my hand. Ethan, don't leave me. I won't. I stayed awake through the night, gripping my makeshift weapon while she slept. At sunrise, I walked toward the trees. Then I saw fresh marks carved deep into the trunk of a dead tree. My blood ran cold, for words stared back at me. Ghost Wolf, we finally found you. I stepped closer. Someone knew exactly who I was, and they were coming for us. I touched the carved letters and felt an old fear return. I had buried Ghost Wolf for years, but whoever left that message wanted him back. I tightened my grip and looked toward the jungle. This time, I would not run from my past again. Ethan, I turned. Isabella, get down. 3 men stepped from the trees, rifles raised. Move. I shouted. She dropped behind a fallen log as bullets struck the ground. One attacker rushed me. I caught his wrist, twisted the rifle away, and drove my shoulder into his chest. Who sent you? He swung at me. I blocked it. Answer me. Another man fired. I rolled behind a tree. I grabbed a stone and threw it at his weapon. The rifle dropped. Isabella stared at me. Ethan, what are you doing? Surviving. I disarmed the second man and knocked him down. The third tried to escape. I chased him through the trees. Stop. He fired over his shoulder. I tackled him and pinned his arm. Who sent you? He laughed. You really don't remember me? No. His smile widened. Ghost Wolf. My blood went cold. I tightened my grip. Say that again. Ghost Wolf is alive. I knocked him unconscious. When I returned, Isabella was staring at me like I was a stranger. You lied to me. I hid the truth. You move like a trained killer. I was trained. By whom? People who don't exist anymore. She stepped closer. Are you Ghost Wolf? I looked at the unconscious attackers. Yes. Her face went pale. The mercenary? Yes. The Ghost Wolf people talk about. I was that man. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted to leave that life behind. You were protecting me while pretending to be weak? Yes. Why? Because strength attracts enemies. She looked toward the jungle, and now they found you. They found both of us. She held up Victor's photograph. You think my uncle ordered this? I think he arranged the crash. And these men, they came to finish the job. Isabella shook her head. My family wouldn't kill me. Your family may not know what Victor is doing, but why would he want me dead? Control. She looked down. My inheritance. Exactly. Silence settled between us. Then she whispered, "What happened to make you quit?" I looked at my hands. My team was betrayed. By whom? People with money. People who believed mercenaries were disposable. You survived. Barely. And your brother? My brother almost died because of me. That wasn't your fault. I believed it was. She touched my arm. Ethan, you don't have to carry that alone. I looked at her. For the first time, I believed her. We searched the island until I found an abandoned emergency station hidden beneath thick vines. Can you repair this? Isabella asked. I can try. I removed parts from the wreckage and connected them to the damaged radio. Come on. I whispered. Static filled the room. Then a signal appeared. Isabella grabbed my shoulder. It works. Don't celebrate yet. I adjusted the frequency. Mayday. This is Ethan Cole. We have survivors on an unidentified island. Static answered. Then a voice came through. Ethan? I froze. I knew that voice. Marcus. Isabella looked at me. Who is Marcus? My former commander spoke again. Listen carefully. I leaned toward the radio. I'm listening. His voice became urgent. Ethan, don't let Isabella return home. I felt my stomach tighten. Why? Victor controls everything. The radio went silent. Isabella whispered, What does he mean? I stared at the dead receiver. I don't know. But deep inside, I already feared the answer. The island wasn't our only prison. I knew it now. Isabella stepped closer. Where do we go? Somewhere Victor can't reach. Can you protect me? I looked into her frightened eyes. I protected you before you knew who I was. And now you know who I am. She swallowed. Are we safe? No. What do we do? I picked up the radio. We survived first. And after that, we exposed Victor. She nodded slowly. Together? I met her eyes. Together, Victor had built another prison for us at home. That's helicopters coming for us. Isabella shouted over the storm. I know. Then we're saved. No, we're being hunted. She stared at me. What are you talking about? I pointed through the rain. Look at the emblem beneath the door. She squinted. I can't see anything. Victor security mark. 3 black lines around a silver shield. Her face went pale. Victor wouldn't send them to rescue me. He would if he wanted to make sure you never reached your family. You're asking me to believe you over my own family? I'm asking you to survive. The helicopter circled lower. I grabbed Isabella's arm. Move. She pulled away. I'm not running from a rescue team. Then watch what happens. I dragged her behind a fallen tree. Seconds later, armed men jumped from the helicopter. One shouted, Search every direction. Victor wants her alive. Isabella covered her mouth. I whispered, Now do you believe me? Yes, she breathed. I believe you. Good. Stay behind me. Gunfire cracked through the jungle. Run. We sprinted through the mud as bullets tore into the trees behind us. Isabella slipped on a wet root and cried out, My ankle. Can you stand? I think so. You don't have to. Before she could answer, I lifted her into my arms. What are you doing? Carrying you. You can't carry me through this. Watch me. Rain hammered my face as I pushed deeper into jungle. After several minutes, she whispered, Why are you still protecting me? Because I promised. You could have left me. I could have. Then why didn't you? I tightened my grip. Because you're not just my employer anymore. She became silent. Finally, she said, I was horrible to you. You were frightened. No, I treated you like a servant. You were trying to control everything around you. I was afraid to trust anyone. I know. How? Because I've been afraid too. She rested her head against my shoulder. Who are you really? I hesitated. I hid my identity because everyone I trusted was eventually taken from me. Taken? People I loved. People who knew the real me. Victor taught me that trust could become a weapon. Her voice softened. And you still trusted me? I'm starting to. She looked at me. I'm sorry. I know. I don't want to be your employer anymore. I stopped beneath a thick tree. What do you want? She swallowed. I want you beside me because you choose to be. My heart tightened. I choose you, I said. I looked at her injured ankle, then toward the jungle ahead. Fear tried to control me, but I refused to let it. If Victor wanted a war, I would give him one. But I would bring Ryan home. Before she could respond, my phone vibrated. I answered immediately. Marcus. His voice sounded urgent. Listen carefully. I found proof. Proof of what? Victor planned the entire rescue. The helicopter was only one part of it. I already know. No, you don't. There's something worse. What? Marcus paused. Ryan. My blood turned cold. What about my brother? Victor has him. I could barely breathe. Where? I don't know yet, but I found something that proves Victor knows exactly where Ryan is being held. Isabella grabbed my hand. Marcus continued, and he wants you to come for him. I stared into the darkness. This is a trap. Marcus whispered, yes, and Victor knows you'll walk straight into it. I looked at Isabella. I'm coming for Ryan. Marcus answered, then prepare yourself. Victor isn't trying to kill you anymore. Then what does he want? His reply froze me. He wants you alive long enough to watch your brother die. The call ended. I lowered my phone and Isabella squeezed my hand. Whatever happened, she whispered, you won't face it alone. For the first time in years, I believed someone when they said that. Marcus shut the boat's engine down and whispered, we're safe. I stared at the dark coastline ahead. Safe isn't the word I would use. You survived an island prison, crossed the sea and escaped Victor's men, Marcus said. Give yourself one night to breathe. I can't. Why? Because Victor will move before sunrise. Marcus studied me. Then what are you going to do? I'm going back. To what? Sterling International. To my life. 3 days later, I stood outside Sterling International and felt like a stranger at my own door. Screens inside displayed Victor's face beside a headline accusing me of kidnapping Isabella. Marcus read it aloud. Former security officer wanted for abduction. I clenched my fists. He turned me into the villain. And Isabella? Her inheritance is frozen. Her accounts are locked. Victor controls the company. Marcus lowered his voice. They're hunting both of you. Then we stopped running. He looked at me carefully. With what money? I have something better. What? My network. That night, I called people I had once trusted with my life. A former logistics commander answered first. I heard you were dead. I'm not. I also heard you were broke. I am. He laughed. Then why are you calling? Because I'm building a company. A company? Private security, intelligence, and technology. You? Yes. You were a guard. I was a mercenary before I became a guard. Silence followed. Then he asked, what do you need? People who can work under pressure. People who don't scare easily. I know some. Send them. Marcus joined me the next morning. You really think this will work? He asked. No. He blinked. That's honest. I think we'll make it work. He smiled. That sounds more like you. Our first office was a rented warehouse with broken lights and second-hand desks. What will you call it? Marcus asked. I looked at the warehouse. Blackstone Security. Sounds expensive. It needs to sound impossible. He laughed. Then let's make it impossible. I opened my contacts and started dialing. No more hiding. If Victor wants a war, I'll build an army. People laughed when they saw me. One investor said, a poor guard wants to compete with billion-dollar companies? I answered, no, I want to compete with people who think money makes them untouchable. He laughed again. And what makes you different? I know what happens when everything goes wrong. Within weeks, we secured small protection contracts. Then came corporate intelligence work. Then technology contracts. Marcus stared at the growing list one evening. We made it. I shook my head. We survived the beginning. Same thing. No. Survival keeps you alive. Building gives you power. 3 months later, our company won a contract worth more than I had earned in my entire previous career. News channels started mentioning my name. Then Adrian Black called. "I've been watching you," he said. "Then you know I'm not interested in small talk." He chuckled. "Direct. I like that. What do you want?" "To buy your company." "No, you haven't heard my price." "I don't need to. Everyone has a price." "Not this." His voice hardened. "You're rising too quickly. You don't understand whose territory you're entering." "I understand perfectly. You think you built an empire alone?" "No, I built it with people who believe in me. You're still connected to Sterling blood." My stomach tightened. "What did you say?" "You heard me." "Explain." "I won't." "Adrian." He laughed softly. "You refuse my offer. Fine, but remember this. The next battle won't be against a rival." I stood silently. "It will be against your own blood." The call ended. Marcus looked at me. "What happened?" I slowly lowered the phone. "Adrian knows something." "What?" I stared toward the city lights. "I don't know yet." "Then we find out." I nodded. For the first time, I said, "I'm ready to fight the enemy inside my own family." "They're attacking us from every side," I said, staring at the reports. "Adrian is with Victor now." Isabella looked at me. "They released documents claiming I helped you steal Sterling International. They want everyone to believe you're a criminal." "Then let me surrender," she whispered. "If I disappear, they may stop hunting you." I shook my head. "No, running away already cost me years of my life. I lost my team, my purpose, and the truth. I won't lose you too. You could die." "I know." "And you still want to fight?" "This time, I choose a fight." Marcus rushed into the room. "I found something. Victor transferred millions in company assets before the crash." I grabbed the files. "Can you prove it?" "Bank records, shell companies, hidden accounts. He moved everything weeks before the disaster." Isabella frowned. "Why would he destroy his own empire?" "Because it wasn't his empire," I said. "It was a trap." Marcus lowered his voice. "There's more. I traced payments connected to Ryan." My heart stopped. "Ryan." "He's alive. Victor has been holding him as leverage." "Where?" "An old warehouse outside the city." I turned toward the door. Isabella caught my arm. "You're not going alone." "I have to." "No, we do this together." We reached the warehouse after midnight. I forced the door open and found my brother tied to a chair. "Ryan." His eyes widened. "You came." I cut the ropes. "Are you hurt?" "Not badly, but you need to hear this." "What?" Ryan swallowed. "Victor knew about your mercenary team." My hands went cold. "What are you saying?" "He was connected to the operation that destroyed them." I stared at him. "Victor?" "He helped arrange the attack." My chest tightened. "Then why did I believe leaving that life was my choice?" "Because they made you believe the truth was different." Isabella stepped closer. "Your entire decision was built on a lie." I looked at Ryan. "Who gave Victor the order?" "I don't know." The next morning, I walked into the public hearing with Marcus, Isabella, and Ryan beside me. Cameras turned toward us. Victor smiled from across the room. "You came to accuse me?" I raised the financial records. "I came to expose you." Adrian shouted. "Those documents prove nothing." Marcus answered. "Every transfer is verified." I faced Victor. "You stole company assets before the crash, destroyed my team, and framed Isabella." Victor's smile never disappeared. "You think this ends with me?" he asked. "Yes." He laughed softly. "You still don't know who ordered your family's destruction." Victor tilted his head. "You really think evidence gives you power?" "It gives me the truth." "Truth?" He laughed. "You're trying to frighten me." "No, I'm warning you." Isabella moved beside me. "You're finished, Victor." Victor looked at her. "Am I?" "Ask yourself why your family welcomed Adrian so easily." Her face changed. "What did you do?" "Nothing that wasn't already planned." Marcus whispered. "Don't let him distract you. The records will go to the authorities. Victor's confidence cracked. You wouldn't. I already did. Ryan stepped forward. And I'll testify. Victor stared at my brother, then at me. For years, I believed my old life ended because I chose peace. Now I understood that someone had stolen that choice from me. I looked directly into Victor's eyes. You took my team. You took my family. You took years from me, but you won't take tomorrow. That smile frightened me more than his anger. There's still one name, he said. Whose name? The person who ordered everything. He laughed softly. You still don't know who ordered your family's destruction. Victor stared at me. You want the final truth? I want all of it. He smiled bitterly. I didn't order your family's destruction. I was only the hand they used. Who? The Blackstone Alliance. 5 powerful companies. Bankers, politicians, and investors. They wanted Sterling International and feared your family would expose their network. My fists tightened. And my team, they were collateral. I was promised control after they were gone. Isabella whispered. So Victor was their puppet? Yes, Victor said. They gave the orders. I carried them out. I looked at the evidence on the table. Then this ends today. Marcus asked, what will you do? I stared at Victor. What they expected me to do. Victor smiled. Kill me? No. His smile faded. I won't become a monster you tried to create. I handed the evidence to the investigators. Take everything. Bank records, messages, recordings, transfers. Let the law decide his fate. Victor shouted, You think prison will stop them? No, I answered, but truth will. Months of investigations followed. The evidence spread across every major news network. The alliance collapsed under public pressure. Accounts were frozen. Executives were arrested, and Victor lost everything he had built. I never needed a weapon. Isabella stood beside me when Sterling International returned to her control. You could have taken it, she said. I already have something better. What? A future I don't have to steal. She smiled. And your company? I looked through the glass at the growing headquarters. It's becoming stronger every day. Marcus laughed. Security, technology, intelligence, global contracts. You realize you've built an empire? I built a company. You built an empire, Isabella corrected. I shook my head. Then let's make sure it protects people instead of controlling them. Months later, Isabella and I returned to the island where our lives had nearly ended. She looked across the quiet water. Do you remember how frightened we were? I remember everything. You survived this place. So, did you? She took my hand. Ethan, do you ever regret hiding your identity from me? I thought about the years I had spent pretending to be weak. I regret hiding my heart. I said, I don't regret hiding my strength. She smiled. Why? Because strength was never supposed to be a performance. Then what was it for? To protect what matters. She leaned against me. You know, everyone calls you Ghost Wolf now. I'm not Ghost Wolf. Not the poor guard either. I laughed. Never again. She squeezed my hand. Then who are you? I looked toward the horizon. I'm Ethan Cole. And what does Ethan Cole want? I took a breath. To live. Anything else? To love. She smiled. And to forgive myself. Power was choosing mercy when revenge was easier. Power was building instead of destroying. Power was surviving without losing my soul. I had buried Ethan Cole beneath the name Ghost Wolf because I thought becoming someone feared would keep me safe. But I was wrong. I didn't need fear. I needed courage. I needed love. I needed the freedom to become myself again. Isabella whispered, Ready to go home? I smiled and held her hand. Yes. I had survived the crash, betrayal, war, and lies. I had faced a man who destroyed my past. And now, finally, I had something Victor could never take from me. My future. The headlines changed from accusation to outrage. People demanded answers. And the powerful could not hide behind money. When I stood beside Isabella, I felt no need to explain who I was. She already knew. Let's go home, she said. I nodded. Our home was the life we had chosen. Together, freely and honestly, not Ghost Wolf, not the poor guard, just Ethan Cole, a survivor, a man who loved, a man who forgave himself, and a man who built an empire without losing his soul.